All right, guys, what we've done previously, what we've done for the press release stuff, there's been a lot of videos. If you go over to this blog post at any point, you will see that there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 videos, and it's a little bit confusing for people who want to sort of go in and learn about what we've been covering. So what I decided to do, excuse me, is just do a recap of what we've covered in those previous sort of training videos, okay? Now, some of this stuff is kind of basic. I hope for you it's kind of basic, because if it is kind of basic, then you've got all you need to understand about the press release stuff for the SEO, for the traffic and the conversion, okay? But what I'll do is I'll just run through the points, and then we can do some questions and answers at the end, okay? And that way, you know, if you've got any questions, just put them into Robert. He will start to save them up, and we can cover those at the very end, okay? So let's just get started. Let's just dig into it. So first of all, you need to think about what is your goal for the press release, okay? Is it for traffic, or is it for SEO, or is it for both, okay? Most people will do it for both. There will be times, though, when you want to do it just for SEO. What I mean by that is, for example, you want to do a quick press release, you just want to get a variety of sort of referral domains in, and you can use tools like the one that we shared yesterday, which was the PR Fast Submit, or whatever it was called, for that kind of purpose, okay? That's fine to do. Especially when using mass media SEO, because it's inexpensive an expensive way to do it compared to other programs. It doesn't cost very much, really, when you break it down into how much it is for one press release. And you think about all the backlinks that you get from a press release and how much you're paying for one. It makes perfect sense to use it on occasion just for the SEO purposes, okay? But ideally, what we want to do is to be doing press releases for traffic and SEO, okay? So basically, if I'm talking about press release SEO, it's in two parts. There's a press release optimization for the actual press release itself, and then we got the money site optimization. That is where the press release is linking to, okay? So if we're thinking about the press release optimization, we need to start thinking about how do we backlink to the press release, how do we make that press release sticky, as far as the rankings, because we know that we'll get an initial rankings, initial traffic, and what do we do with the traffic, and how do we keep the rankings? And the second part is the money site optimization, where whatever we're linking to inside the press release is the money site link that we're actually trying to boost. And probably you're using a video as well. Hopefully you'll be using a video as well, and you'll be linking to the same properties from the video. With the same links as you got on your press release, okay? So there's two different parts to think about the SEO side. For the press release, for the money site that the press release is linking to. So we've got to take two different ways of approaching it as far as the optimization for it, for the SEO stuff, okay? So we should always use press releases for the money site. You can do it for tier 1. I think it's a waste, because it's kind of white hat anyway. It's not, it's just a really good way to get referral domains linking into your money site, and a lot of times these will be authority links from trusted sources, okay? A lot of people use press releases for that purpose. A lot of people actually use press releases because they've got real news that they want to get shared out. They're always going to have links to get more information on the particular money site, or if they got the information to get additional information and stuff, it's probably going to be on their money site, okay? So ideally, you're going to use press releases for tier 1 links, and that way anything else that you're doing for the press release for backlinking is going to be tier 2 to when you're backlinking your actual press release itself, okay? What you need to do is recognize or identify the URL that you're going to backlink to from the press release submission. For us right now, we've got we're building the news site, which is where I would want some people to do like high quality links, but we also have another couple of other ones which we'll do videos on, not today, but those ones you can do a little bit more aggressive, because the more established kind of sites like EmailWire, for example, is one of those that we distribute. So that's more established sites. So that one can take a little bit more aggressive backlinking than what we want to do to the news site. Okay, so if you bear that in mind, then we all benefit from the news site when it's up and running properly, because if we're just doing high quality links into that one, then we're all going to benefit as a result. Okay, that means everybody, whoever does a press release on mass media SEO will get a boost from the domain authority, from the trust flow, the citation flow, etc. All that stuff will be just getting better and better and better. Okay. So anyway, for press releases for your money site, you're doing it for the link diversity, as I sort of mentioned before, the referral links. But we're also doing it for traffic as well. Don't forget the amount of hits that Robert got on some of those things with Newswire. Now, mass media is not going to be up to that level within the next 2 weeks, but we're certainly building up towards it, okay, with some of the stuff that we're building in. But you know, when we see these kind of views, like even the lowest in here is 7,500, that's a lot of traffic. That is really a lot of traffic, and it gives you potential for things like social shares. It gives you potential for things like bookmarks, and it gives you potential for getting more traffic just from people sharing links into the social media accounts like Facebook and Twitter, and things like retweets and likes and shares and Google Plus and all that good stuff. Okay, so even when we got here for 7,950 views or whatever, that is going to send a lot of people into your money site links. Okay, so you really need to be careful what you want your money site links to be, and make sure it's your best content, make sure it's good content, and also have that sort of curiosity built in so that we can send them there with a reason to, you know, they want to get more information, they want to find out more. That's the whole purpose. So when we define that goal, what is the goal of your press release, whether it's for SEO or if it's for traffic, or combination, we need to think about where are we going to be linking to. So it's always better to start with your content that you really want to boost first. Okay, so if you think about it, I need to get traffic to this particular page, for example, for this one. Maybe I want to get more traffic to this. I need to start to think, okay, what is the best way that I can create a press release that will give me a reason, a legitimate reason, a relevant reason to link into this post. Okay, so I can create something newsworthy. For example, mass media SEO have just increased the distribution list by 4 times or whatever. That gives me an opportunity then to put a link in for press release traffic and SEO training, where all these videos are. Okay, you don't have to do the title of your press release to match your actual money site post. This one is all about case studies. This one is all about training. This is kind of SEO press release training. I don't need to be confined to doing a press release title or a press release around training and you know, how to write a press release. What I can do is I can make it broader. I can just do you know, perfectly legitimate news article as a press release, and have a reason within the article, within one paragraph or one sentence, to link back to this page, and that way you're not confined so much. So if you think about it like that, it opens up much more opportunities for you to be able to think about what to write about. Okay. Robert, since we started the mass media SEO, have you noticed the sort of uptake on people using the press releases that took the membership? I'm guessing that we've probably got a few people stagnant that haven't got started yet, and I want to try and identify the reasons why and trying to make it as easy as possible for them, because we know, you know, very, very well how well this strategy works. Well, what have you noticed in the sort of members area, the customers area?
We have about 70 new members, I think, isn't it? And
we added 75 new members, yeah.
There's about 5 people that have written press releases.
Okay, that's pretty shocking statistics. So what we need to do then is we need to really simplify as much as possible for people being able to do this. My guess is it's still about the writing. Even with giving them the tool, I think it's still about the writing that people get stagnant. So I've got some solutions for that as well, which we'll cover a little bit later in this one. Okay. So when it comes to the writing, this is why I asked this question, and that's why I asked Robert that question, because I know that this is the biggest stumbling block for most people. We've provided the tool Article Optimization Commander. That's what AOC stands for. There's other tools like Keyword Organizer, I think it's called. I forget the guy's name. That's a pretty good tool as well. We actually based our tool around his, to be honest. in some certain sort of aspects, but we added a lot more to it. Or basically to purchase a writing service. Now, Robert, you were offering at some point, I think I've seen somewhere in one of the Facebook groups, you were offering a press release writing service, or did I misunderstand?
I did mention that, yes. I told them that I would submit to their paid account and that I would write press releases for people.
Right, okay. Can you give people an idea of the price and how long, what's the sort of time frame for getting it done?
I'm asking $100 for submission to mass media, and I can do that within a week.
Right, okay. Have you had much uptake on that particular offer?
I've had several people that have contacted me and expressed that they would like me to write press releases for them, but they haven't started anything yet.
Yeah, okay. My guess is the price. Okay, I think it's the price that's put them up. I have a solution. Okay, I'll discuss this with you later as well, Robert. It's okay. I'm not cutting you out. We'll do some stuff together on it. Okay. I have a solution. I spent an hour last night chatting to a guy. He has writers, and these writers are willing to work with us with our strategy. Okay. For the price of $27 for 500 press release, 500 word press release. That is not a lot of money, guys, because they're actually spending time doing our strategy, using the Google group keywords, making sure they've got relevancy built in. They will even go and check your money site, the links that you've got on your money site to get some ideas about what to write about. Okay, so all we need to do is submit basically a URL that you want to link to. You submit the keyword that you really want to target, okay, and he will go and write the 500 word, okay, and as simple as that for $27. So I mean that increases the cost of doing press releases, but if you're not getting them done, you're not going to get any benefit from it, okay. So to be able to do that at that kind of price is really, really good, especially if they're using that software that I've provided and they're using the strategy that I've provided to build that relevancy in. But I couldn't get it down any lower than that. I really couldn't. So
that's fantastic.
27 is quite reasonable. I've seen them advertised. Yeah, I've seen them advertised for $59 somewhere from one of the press release people, and I've seen them advertised in some of the Odesk and places like that, where people really try to charge as much as they can. They think they can get away with it. Probably they're thinking that they're getting businesses actually applying to do it, so that they think that they don't know what the prices should be. But when it comes to marketers, it's a completely different situation, and they're not taking that into account. So anyway, $27 we can get that done for 500 word press releases, and they will write it with the hook at the end. The hook being meaning they will create a curiosity at the end for a reason to click through it and get more. Okay, so all of this stuff that we're covering, as far as that we have covered, is inbuilt into their writing service, which is pretty good. Okay, so again, yeah, create the curiosity or the hook at the end to make people click through. This is really, really essential, because if we look at these numbers again, if you're going to get 7,594 views, you really need to know that you can get people from that. The purpose of that, when you've got the traffic, is to get them into your site so that you can list build, you can put the retargeting cookie, like we covered in webinar 1, so that we can remarket to them. We really want to be able to remarket to them, and that's basically how we do marketing online anyway. Very, very few people will take a purchase on their first time of seeing your content or getting introduced to your content, kind of thing. So what we need to do is that opportunity to sort of impart more value to them, more suggestions to them, and build that trust essentially, so that when they do want to purchase something, or when they do want to buy something, or when you do suggest something that is relevant to them, then they go and make a purchase and you make some money. That's just very, very basic online marketing 101 stuff. Okay, so we've got to think about that all the time, and creating your curiosity, creating that hook at the end is absolutely essential. It really is absolutely essential. I can't emphasize that enough, okay? So what we mentioned before is create the press releases for your most important content, okay? You can make it newsworthy just by creating something that is newsworthy and find a paragraph inside with a reason to link to your money site or to your money content, okay? We kind of covered that a bit. So you can think about linking to tier 1 when appropriate, but I would do this only in a situation where, for example, you're doing something like a guest post, or you have a guest post done for you, okay? Tier 1 can be a video as well, okay? Tier 1 can be high quality Web 2.0, like the Tumblr strategy that we used the other day. That can be a tier 1 as well. I personally wouldn't use it for Web 2.0. I would use it for video, and I would use it for guest posts. Okay, what we're going to do in the next few days, and we've actually been working on it last night and this morning, we're putting an SEO services section into AnthonyHayes.me site. Okay, I've done some deals with specific trusted sources that I use myself to get stuff done. Okay, some high PR backlinking to get some guest posts done, and we've got it pretty much fixed the way that I want it. Okay, so I've kind of negotiated with the providers to be able to get things done into my way of thinking, so that we can get those bits and pieces done. So things like guest posting, it might sound like a sort of alien concept to you if you've never done it before, but believe me, this can work really, really well in two ways, because you can have guest posts that are done for SEO, so they're on the high PR blog, or you can have guest posts done for traffic, where they're on the high traffic blog. Okay, sometimes you can get the combination, but to get all that kind of stuff set up and sort of recognize where you should get those opportunities, contact to people and all that kind of stuff, that's why most people don't do it, but we kind of broke through that barrier for you, and we'll be able to put that service up on the site probably in the next sort of 2 or 3 days. So definitely, if you ever use that kind of service, press release to that kind of link would be very, very beneficial to you, because usually when it's a guest post, you're putting out really good content, and even if it's content that's written for you, it's written in a way that it's done properly, so that people will click through into your money site to get more information, okay? But always with the money site, you should have things in there for you know, people to opt in. You've got to give them a reason for you to be able to remarket to them, okay? It can be a free report. You can put in something like a social locker where they can they have to do a retweet or a Google Plus share or something to get additional content, or to get a PDF of your actual blog page or whatever. Those kind of things are pretty easy to set up. You can do, you know, in Chrome, get an extension in Chrome that will create PDF from your page. Just click a button, you've got a PDF done. Add a social locker to it when you add it to the page, and you'll get a bunch of social shares. Okay, it's really easy to do, and there's a bunch of these social locker kind of plugins around as well. Okay, always try to deep link to your site and not to your homepage. Okay, you can put your homepage. I put it in here, but when you're doing the inner pages, you're going to have more relevance, because you can build in. You've got the opportunity with the press releases that we can really, really build in those deep links get in there, because if you've got, for example, if I do want a bit mass media SEO, increase the distribution, I've got 2 or 3 areas in my site where I can put that in. So I've got maybe 2 or 3 blog posts that are related to press releases, and with the linking structure that I've actually got into the site, we're building into the site, I've got other pages that are linking to this particular page here. Okay, so it's not always going to be direct to this page. I'm going to be linking to other pages that have got inside the sort of contextual area here, links coming into this particular URL. That will work very, very well as well. So when we're doing that deep linking, we're building a little bit more variety, and we're building a little bit more referral domains into the deeper and deeper links. Okay, I hope that makes sense, because it's really, really, really important. Okay, this is kind of really white hat basic SEO stuff. I know that a lot of people have gone off and get into the GSA stuff and all that good, you know, all those great tools. SE Nuke was the sort of first one that came along, and I used it myself quite a lot. Then came what was the other one, Magic Submitter, and all those other kind of tools. And now the sort of go-to thing is the GSA. Those are great tools if you're using for a tier 2. Okay, just keep those kind of tools for the tier 2 and make sure that your tier 1 is doing the sensible stuff like the internal linking. When you put a site structure together, when you have done, for example, when I have done a post like this, my goal, if this is going to be a major post that I want to drive a lot of traffic to, and I'm not sure it is because it's just a little bit complicated for people to go through all the training and stuff. There's too much info on this one. But for example, if I was going to create a post just with this video that we're recording now, I would probably want to have about 3 different posts that support that within my site. So I've got a kind of a silo structure being built, my most important content, and 3 supporting articles underneath it linking to that particular content. Okay, that way it's going to give me a massive SEO boost for that particular piece of content and for the site, for the domain in general, because we're getting all those different referral links that are really deep linking maybe 3 or 4 times. Okay, so I would probably use maybe 3 or 4 different press releases to be able to do that. Once I have got each of those supporting articles up, they will get a press release each, and the initial post, the main post, and it doesn't have any links going out. Ideally, it doesn't have any links going out, but it will have those inner pages linking into it, so all the link just flows from there. Okay. When it comes to the silo stuff, if you're linking to your homepage, it is kind of okay, but I would suggest focus on the inner pages. It really is more important that you can do it like that. The homepage will kind of take care of itself once your site gets popular anyway. You know, even last week when I look at over here for the social shares, last week they've kind of doubled, and all I did was some things on justretweet.com. And I noticed a spike in traffic, but I'm not even sure where the spike came from. There must have been a sort of influx of traffic for something. Maybe it was the SEO tool or something, the free one we gave away. But this kind of doubled in the space of a week. So the homepage kind of takes care of itself, even if you've got links getting into the inner pages. It will always happen like that. Okay. Okay. Video, really important. Videos everywhere, and you know, we've got a whole bunch of video SEO tools out there with the Commando SEO stuff, with HQ, Hangout Traffic Commando, Publisher, YouTube, Live Editor kind of thing coming up as well. It's really important, but how we use the video can be done in several ways as well. We need to think about the video that we put into the press release and what we do with that video out with the press release as well. Now, there's several things that we can do there, okay? First thing you want to do is you want to put the same links into the video description as what you've got in your press release. That way you're building a consistency and a relevancy. And you're giving yourself 2 opportunities at that point where you can do sort of links, second-tier linking. Okay. If I just come to the next slide now, you've got 2 options or a combination of both. You can do it via video distribution. For example, you can go onto Fiverr.com. You can find gigs for people that have got Traffic Geyser or Traffic Geyser. I'm not quite sure how they pronounce that. You can find gigs for people that will just do sort of manual video distribution. You can use sites that do that video distribution for you as well. I think there's some free sites and there's some paid sites that do that. Or you can buy software that does it sort of semi-automatic. You've got a lot of options there. Probably the easiest way if you want to do the video distribution is just go on Fiverr.com, find somebody with a high rating, you know, it's high approval rate or whatever they call it these days in Fiverr.com, who does this kind of thing for you. And it doesn't matter how many he's doing. You know, I've heard people talk about doing 3,000, 5,000, 7,000 video embeds. That's all good and well, but I mean, it doesn't really make sense to me in a lot of ways, but I'll tell you why in just a second. I would rather you focus more on the higher quality video distribution and use it for your first tier, okay? If you've got sites like Dailymotion, you've got sites like Vimeo, you can even use Facebook for video distribution, you can even use Google Plus for video distribution, and that doesn't mean YouTube. You've got all those different kind of high quality sites. Even if you've got 5 or 8 of them, they make a perfect first tier, okay, and it costs you nothing more than a $5 to get it done, okay. With that first tier, then go and use your things like your GSA tools and things like that, or Web 2.0 Commando, things like that. That's perfectly fine. But when you're doing things like the video embeds, in my opinion, that will work for a while, and it might be very, very effective for a while, but what will be more effective is if you are getting views on those particular videos, okay? And if you're getting some interaction on the actual YouTube video page as well. So if, for example, you've got a YouTube video and you're doing 5,000 embeds, for example, that's perfectly fine. It'll probably work right now. But what's happening inside YouTube with that particular video? Is it getting any traffic inside YouTube? Is it getting any sort of legitimate views? Are the views being viewed, you know, like 65%, 75%, 100%, or are they not being viewed at all? Is it getting any interaction with people liking it? Is it getting any comments, which then goes through into Google+? You have to take all of that kind of thing into consideration. But most importantly, in my opinion, if it's getting so many embeds, if it's getting so many views, does it match the search volume of that particular video, that particular keyword phrase that you're targeting, or a combination of them? For example, if Robert does a press release about mass media increased its distribution network, and I go and look for keywords that are related to press release distribution, press release service, and together it might come to, say, 4,000 views per month, for example, if I get 5 or 6 of these together. Now, if I'm getting 5,000 embeds and I'm getting, you know, 10,000 links from you like hits or something like that, it's not really making a sort of sensible equation. Even taking into account things like people that might do reshares onto Facebook and Twitter, even taking into account people that might see the video on YouTube on the right-hand column, and they might click through, they might not. I very, very rarely click through on those kind of links. I very rarely click through on videos on Facebook or Twitter. I will go and read the text before and after. If it's a longer kind of video, I'm certainly not going to watch it because I don't have the time, okay? If it's a short video, I might watch it just to see the way they've done the video, but, you know, most of the time I don't actually click through on those damn videos. Okay, unless it's a training video that I really want to learn from somebody about something, a particular subject. You have to take all this into consideration and have some kind of reality. But if you want to do this sort of Web 2.0 stuff, then you really need to be using tools like we got with the Advanced Video Viewer. Okay, now the Advanced Video Viewer that we've got, don't worry, I'm not going to sell you anything, I'm actually going to give you something at the end of this. With the Advanced Video Viewer that we got, it will go and it will watch the videos on the Web 2.0 sites, okay, and you can have it set up to do it over 30 days, right? That's going to give you a little bit more reality into the situation, but you still have to take into account the interaction stuff. You have to take into account, is this video getting liked? Is it getting commented on? Is it getting any interaction? What is the length of time people are watching it? How many views are being done? Okay, it's better to do fewer embeds, if you like, but having higher views on those embeds, and plus having views into the YouTube video itself, and plus interaction into the YouTube video itself. Hope that makes sense. And this way you've got a longevity of what we're doing with the SEO, what we're doing with the actual strategy, what we're doing with sort of making it as real as possible. If you look at the tools that we've been creating over the last sort of year, 2 years or whatever, take Social Traffic Commando as an example. We're always thinking about the actual reality of the situation as it would be if it was an influencer, for example, when it came to Social Traffic Commando. He makes a post on Twitter, it gets shared on Twitter by getting retweeted, okay? It's not just we've got 5,000 Twitter accounts, we're going to do 5,000 tweets. It's not like that, okay? What we're going to do with that kind of tool, with Social Traffic Commando, is you're going to sort of tell that software how many authority accounts you want to use, tell it which ones are going to be the authority accounts. You can choose 1, 3, 5, 10, whatever you want. So for example, if you've chosen 5, then there will be 5 original tweets, and all the other accounts will come and do retweets. And it's the same when it comes to Tumblr, it's the same when it comes to Facebook, it's the same when it comes to the other sites. We're replicating the reality of what would happen in a real campaign. Okay, so you have to think about it like that, and you're going to have much, much more longevity. And that way, instead of just like mass posting out with no interaction and all that kind of stuff, we're building all that stuff in, and that way we're going to look like we're real. The only thing that we're kind of weak on with that particular strategy that we're working on right now is that we're creating accounts from nothing. We're creating accounts from scratch with the account creator. So therefore, those accounts are not edged. They haven't got real followers and things like that, and we need to find a way to sort of counterbalance that. And so at the moment, for that particular tool, we're building it into a web application so that we have a network of users, and we are all sort of resharing our own stuff according to the categories that you put in and that you want to reshare. Okay, that's the way we're trying to get around that. And that way, that when you're getting these reshares, it's going to work a lot better, and we will still have things like the host queue and the randomization in there, and that way it's looking more real. So it's the same thing when it comes to the video that you're going to put into your press release and any other video distribution that you do. It's better to choose fewer but higher quality sites, go for more views on those particular sites, okay, and do better backlinking to those particular sites as well. And then it's going to have a longevity rather than just blast. Okay, blast is boring. It's not going to last very long. We've all done it before. We've all been slapped by it before, and we've all lost a lot of money with it before. I certainly did. I know that several people within the Facebook group all got hit, and very similar to me. I used to have a blog called kissim.org. It was between number 2 and number 5 at different times in the UK, Google UK, for the keyword SEO training. I was getting quite a lot of traffic from that, and I was getting a lot of people that were coming in asking me to do sort of one-on-one consultations and stuff like that. At that time, I was building links in sort of a variety of ways, but I was doing it all sort of grey hat, black hat stuff. We were just, at that time, it was just so easy to rank by doing things like mass linking. We could do things like SE Nuke, we could do things like Magic Submitter, we could do things like directory links, thousands of them, that kind of thing. And when we did get slapped, I had to look at the site and think, is it worth me spending the time trying to fix this, or is it better just to let it go, focus on something else for now and come back to this when I'm ready? And now when I've come back to it when I'm ready, now what I'm doing is I'm just focusing on high quality links. So we have to think about SEO in a different way now, but it's still the same SEO stuff. We're just doing it with more high quality but lower volume linking. Okay, and even when it comes to the video stuff, we want to do the same kind of thing, but use the video sites for a tier 1. Okay, hope that makes sense. So we're not doing mass embeds. We're doing your tier 1, and you can take the video and you can put it into something like Web 2.0 Commander. We can scrape the URLs from there. You can put it into the advanced viewer. It will watch those videos, but you still need to take care of the interactivity stuff. You still need to take care of the sort of social shares that might come from that, from the commenting that might come from that, from links that might come from that. But most of all, you need to think about the YouTube video, about how much views it's getting and what is the percentage of the video being viewed as well. Okay, so the advanced video viewer takes care of that. And what I'm doing, we've actually got a standalone version of this one. We're going to give it to Mass Media SEO members as a standalone. I might build it into the actual software itself that we got for the article optimization, and just rename the suite. So I'll make it into a mini suite, and we can just rename the suites, press release commando or something like that. And that way it's going to be far more effective for you to be able to use that particular strategy if that's what you want to do. Okay, but what we're doing with that again is we're increasing it sensibly. You need to be thinking about the search volumes for those particular keywords, and don't go over it. Use these kind of tools to give you a boost, and don't use them for just mass SEO backlinks. It's not going to work best like that. These kind of tools, best to use the views in a sensible way that fits in with the search volume. Okay, so I think we can probably take some questions right now, Robert, because it's something I want to make sure that people have properly grasped.
Let me see here. There aren't any questions. No questions.
No? Okay. Okay. Fair enough. All right, let's kick on then. Okay, so video distribution, I would definitely recommend just use Fiverr. Go and look for the guys that do Traffic Geyser gigs. It'll cost you $5, okay? And you've got quite an effective access, access to a very, very effective tool. I think Traffic Geyser costs something like $2,500 for the lifetime. I actually bought it and never use it. So somebody knows how to use it and they want to use it. Let me know. As long as you can use it for my stuff as well, then we can both benefit from that. I bought the lifetime license. Anyway, so the high PR backlinks, this is really important. Okay, there's two ways that we can use high PR backlinks, and we have kind of stumbled upon, searched, found, researched, tested couple of what I call networks. Okay, these are not private blog networks. These are very, very similar to what we were describing yesterday in the webinar where I was talking about we want to be able to let people add their websites for distribution in the mass media, okay? And that will be done by category. We found something very similar, which is where the original idea came from, and it even goes back to the PBN assassin thing that we're working on in the background, that we should hopefully get finished in the next sort of 2 or 3 weeks. It's from real people with real sites, okay? And basically what they are doing is that there's about a network of about 3,500 of these sites. And these sites run various niches, okay? So what we're doing with them is we are buying guest posts on those, okay? Robert, could you mute your microphone because I can hear you typing in the background? Thanks. So what we're doing is we're buying guest posts on these particular links, okay? And they range from PR1 to PR4. And I've been testing it very, very effectively. We've been testing it on videos, on press releases. We've been testing it on even the AnthonyHayes.me. We've got the domain authority and the page authority up pretty quickly with very, very few links. Those kind of high quality links usually are kind of hard to find. But when we combine it with good quality writing where the article has actually done it for you, all you have to do is say, look, I want this link, I want to get 1 PR4 or 3 PR4 links going to this particular inner page on my site. Here's the URL, here's 3 or 4 keyword phrases that I want to have included in the article, that's what I want to target. Then you're sort of done and you walk away from it. This kind of thing is working very, very effectively, and I'll tell you why you should seriously consider it, is because often you will go and buy a bunch of tools and a bunch of new stuff that come out and your email boxes are getting hit every single day. Okay, it happens to me as well. Your curiosity is sort of piqued when you see these emails come in and you go to see what it is, and before you know it, you've been seduced by a sales page, you bought into it, and 3 months later you've probably find that you logged into it once or twice and you never used the damn thing, okay? Whether it's a software, whether it's a course you didn't get to finish, you started watching it, for various reasons. It can be just time constraints, it can be it was poor quality once you got into it, it can be that you just didn't like the strategy, or, for whatever reason you didn't use it. When you're spending that kind of money on those kind of things, then SEO becomes like a hobby, and a very, very expensive hobby, okay? And I'll give you a reference to that in real life. We had started at a restaurant in Riga in Latvia, and I used to be a chef for many years, and I was a very sort of senior chef within a very big restaurant company. I should have been the last person to have a restaurant fail. I had the training, I had the knowledge, I had the expertise, but I did sort of some basic mistakes with having ex-wife involved, listening to stuff and things like that. And it became that restaurant, I didn't want to give it up because I actually enjoyed having it. I enjoyed having my own control over it. I enjoyed, getting in there and doing the cooking and stuff and writing menus and all that kind of stuff. But it became a very, very expensive hobby. In the end, that restaurant was costing me something like $2,000 a week, okay? And that was just the losses we were making. That doesn't take into account all the hassles I had with it. It doesn't take into the account, that the staff sometimes got paid late and stuff like that, and all the hassles that comes with that kind of thing. In the end, we had to close it. If you're using SEO as a hobby, you will find that is going to be costing you money in the same way as my real-world situation. You don't want to give it up because it's interesting. It becomes, you know, just a little bit of a challenge so that you can get onto page one and stuff like that. But if you keep buying stuff that doesn't work or that you are not using, then you need to take a step back and think about it and think, what the hell am I doing with this? Where am I spending the money? What do I want to do with the money that I want to contribute to my education in this, or to getting rankings, to getting traffic to properties or whatever, and really take a step back and have a think about it. And then when you sort of correlate the advantages of getting stuff done for you or buying a course with the next shiny thing, if you take a step back and think about it clearly, you will probably decide it's better just to go the safe route, get traffic, work on my conversions, start making money, and as I start making money, I can go and take a look at these other things, you know, a little bit at a time, and don't buy stuff, you know, every week, every day, or as often as what you probably do. We've all been through stages where we buy a lot of stuff. Sometimes it will be weeks where, you know, I just don't want to go near my email because I know that if I do, I know the launches are coming up. I don't want to go and buy those tools. I don't want to get the distraction, okay? And that way, if I can just cut it all off and keep away from it for a little while until I start focusing on the things that I need to be focused on, which is the stuff that I know works, okay, with the high PR links, with video marketing, with Hangouts, with publishing Hangouts and YouTube events and stuff like that. If I'm focusing on that, then I know these are the stuff that works. The press releases work, the high PR blog links work, Hangouts work, etc., etc. Then I just focus on that and nothing else. And then after, when I come out, I can take a look at what everybody's been making a fuss about. And guaranteed, 9 times out of 10, the fuss has all died down, and there's very few people actually talking about that particular shiny object anymore. Okay, so you know, you got to take a step back and really, really think what you want to be doing with that, okay? And focus on quality tiered linking. Quality tiered linking isn't about volume. It really isn't about volume as far as like you need to get thousands. It really is not. What you want to do is have really good, real properties for your tier one, make them as good as they possibly can be, and make it as automated as possible for the back end. Okay, things like the IFTTT tool that we covered in Sunday's webinar is perfect for that. Okay, and talking about that strategy, I got a lot of questions from that webinar. People were just really confused. Let me tell you, if just a really simple way to use that is to put up a Tumblr blog, get a high PR Tumblr blog, put some content on it. Ideally, you will get 5 articles, put it on there. You can buy them. You can even buy these ones for $27. Okay, get them done for you. Put 5 articles in there, do 5 IFTTT accounts, and have each IFTTT account link into each one, and put 1 authority content on each IFTTT account and nothing else, okay? That's a simplified way to do that. It will still be effective. What you should do, though, is keep a track of it, and when you keep a track of it, go in every few days and change your anchor text link in there. I'm actually going to build that into the software. I want Gunpowder to make it automated that we can schedule it maybe after 5 days to go in and rotate the URL that we link to, so that as more content comes in, we start linking out to different URLs and it's not the same one all the time. It's the only way I can do that. But if you think about quality tiered linking like that, then you really want to get good quality first tier. And things like the video sharing sites are perfect for this as well, not just the Tumblrs and bloggers and stuff like that. Having really good quality video sharing site channels, for example, similar to YouTube channels, but in Dailymotion and Vimeo and stuff like that. Those are perfect. Those are really, really good to do, as long as you can knock out the videos to be able to do it quickly. Okay. So next thing is the social shares. For those people who have not got Social Traffic Commando, we have a plugin coming out. I'm hoping at the end of this week. It's kind of similar to Social Traffic Commando, but it's not doing resharing. It's just doing plain syndication. We're giving it away for free in the WordPress repository. Basically, I'm doing that just for list building, so that I can get people into my list, so that I can get them to see my other products and other services. Okay. But we'll be giving that one out probably at the end of this week or early next week. So if you haven't got Social Traffic Commando, or if you haven't got a plugin that does that, then you can get that one for free as well. But it's not coming with the account creator. It's just coming with the back-end system to be able to do that. So you need to go and create your own accounts. Okay. So social shares is really important. For the social shares, you need to think as well about the sort of diversity of what kind of shares you're getting from where. Okay, if we're going to take a look at this guy Jeff Billis, for example. I like to use him because he's consistent in everything that he's doing, and he does really high quality content. I don't know how he gets time to do it. If I go to this home page here, see if I get rid of this thing. Where's the thing to exit out? Nothing to exit out. Oh, Jeff, that was a big mistake. Shouldn't do that. Let's click on here. If you look here, look at the variations he's got for Facebook, for his likes, for his shares, for his comments, etc. And look at the sort of Twitter and in the context of how many shares is getting in LinkedIn. You need to start thinking about that when it comes to social sharing as well. It needs to be something that makes perfect sense. Okay. What's surprising is he's got 40,000 stumbles in here. Which is a site that, you know, everybody's aware of, but you're probably not aware of the amount of traffic it can bring you. Okay, tools like Social Traffic Commando can actually boost your chances of getting into page one in these kind of sites when you're on the home page, because it's all about how many reshares and things that you get on these particular sites. Okay, with those kind of tools, you've got it ready-made that you can create the accounts to do that. But the only problem we've got right now is that the accounts are fake. And we need to change that, which we're working on. But if you look at the diversity and the social stuff here, that's what you really need to take into account. And the way that you address that is you put more Twitter accounts than you've got Facebook accounts. You put more LinkedIn accounts than you've got the other ones. And that way you've always got that sort of inbuilt diversity in the sort of real way as well. Okay, and that way, that's the way you can control it, even with automation tools. So for example, if we give out this tool next week that does just the plain syndication, it's up to you how many accounts you put in there. So maybe you want to put in 500 Twitter accounts and, you know, 20 accounts somewhere else. Maybe you want to put 120 stumble accounts. You control all of that at that point. And that way, if you're using that diversity and thinking about that diversity, it's very easy to do once you set it up one time, and that makes that happen. Okay, what we can do as well for the actual press releases, when we've got the new site up and running, we will have those kind of tools built in. We will have that diversification built in. But if you're going to do it for your money sites as well, which ultimately is why you're doing press releases to get links, you need to be thinking about that strategy as well. You want to match those kind of sort of percentages of how many tweets you get, how many Facebook likes and all that kind of stuff. Okay. Is there any questions at the moment?
There are a couple of questions. Okay, from Patrick Augustine, excuse me. He says, Tony, you always talk about using press releases to link to different pages on a money site, but what if you want to rank a YouTube video that links to your squeeze page?
Okay, you should, what I would do in that situation is put a link into both, okay? And you can put in a couple of links, and then you can do one to your YouTube video. You got to think about what is the purpose of your YouTube video. Okay, your YouTube video purpose is actually to send traffic to and link to your squeeze page. It's perfectly feasible to link to a squeeze page. It really is perfectly feasible to link to a squeeze page. I've ranked squeeze pages for I think Cable was YouTube SEO about a year ago when we did the Tube Link Wheel launch, and it was just basically Tube Link Wheel that I had used at that particular time. And we had a site called TubeSEOcommando.com, which is dead now because I had a business partner, we fell out. But we had the squeeze page on the homepage of TubeSEOcommando.com that was ranking on page one for the keyword YouTube SEO, and it basically came from linking to the video, which in turn had links going into the YouTube TubeSEO.com. So you can think about linking to your squeeze page as well. There's nothing wrong with it.
It looks like that's the last of the questions for now.
All right. Okay. So just some of the, I'll just finish up and just cover some of the basic stuff. Don't forget to put your call to action into your money sites, okay? Always have a call to action. Always give them a reason for to give you an email address for you to remarket to them. This is really, really basic stuff. If you're not doing that, you're making a huge mistake. Where do you put them? Basically, what is working really, really well, and you know, I do a lot of reading what other people are finding. This area here doesn't do very well, okay? I'm finding that with other people. I'm reading other people's case studies as well. This area here doesn't do very well. This does here. And when you scroll down, if you've got a slider coming out, I have actually got it in here, but it will pop up. I think once a day I've got it to pop up for every user. Then that actually works very, very well as well, okay? These are the two that work really well, the one that slides out. To be able to get a tool like that, you can go over to WordPress repository. You can find a plugin called Sumo Me. Okay, it's free, absolutely free. Okay, and it does really, really cool things. It's a little bit like Monster, and it's absolutely free, and it works really well. Okay, you can get it absolutely free. Just go over to, just search for Sumo Me plugin, and you can do all the stuff I've got on here. You can do it for free, just by getting that plugin. It's very easy to use as well. But definitely they give you an option for a slider here. They give you an option when people go to click off, the sort of pop-up appears, it recognizes users about to leave the page, and it gives them a pop-up and a reason to opt in and put the one at the top. These work really well, okay? I can tell you from experience and from other people's case studies that I've been studying as well. So I always have that, and you know, if you can set up an ad roll pixel, we did that in the first webinar. It takes 5 minutes, literally 5 minutes to set up. You create an account on AdRoll, you create a profile, and within that you give it a URL. You just put in your best URL. It will give you a pixel, and you just go over and put that pixel into your site. And we covered in that video, and probably in the links underneath that first webinar, the WordPress plugin that makes it really easy to add it into your site as well. And it literally takes 5 minutes. And that way, even if you're not using sort of ads at the moment, it gives you that option if you choose to do that later. Okay, and the benefit is that AdRoll is just doing for retargeting. So when you've got the pixel and you actually start doing retargeting, they will actually optimize for you. All you've got to do is upload your adverts there. Okay, and there's a bunch of tools to help you even do adverts really fast. And they optimize it. So if you put in sort of 3 different adverts, it will optimize according to the one that is most getting better conversions and stuff like that. And the thing with retargeting, because it's already your original traffic, you get it for, and it costs less to advertise to them. It's not expensive at all. That's a good way to do it. And even if you're not using ads, just put it into your site, and you know, you might decide to use it later, or experiment with it later. So, you know, take the opportunity to have that option there. And it's also a good way to see how much traffic you get into your site as well. It's kind of interesting for that kind of stuff as well, for the analytics and stuff with AdRoll. Okay. If you're using lead pages, I would definitely be using things like lead boxes or lead links within the press releases. Okay. If you're not familiar with what that is, lead pages give you the opportunity that when somebody will click on a particular link, what they do is they give you an HTML sort of format that you put into your content, and when somebody clicks the link, it's a hyperlink, then an opt-in box will automatically pop up right inside that page. Okay, so we don't need to send them to a landing page. You can do it with YouTube descriptions as well, I think. With one of them, I think it's the lead links. I'm not quite sure, I haven't done it yet. But there's a way that we can do that as well. And you can even do that with retargeting links as well. If you use that social spy, I think it was called, web app. Okay. Additional things that you need to think about that I really highly recommend. From some testing that we've been doing, okay, this might surprise some people, but when it comes to the actual other backlinking strategies from all the other stuff that we've been testing, blog commenting is actually still very, very, very effective, and it doesn't have to be done in high numbers. It really is about commenting in authority sites and influencer sites, so really highly relevant sites. We're finding this is really, really effective. Much more effective than bookmarking, much more effective than social shares and stuff like that. And surprisingly, that's just what we're finding. And the next thing is really the forum posting. Okay, I think we covered in some of the webinars for the private blog network stuff to look at forum posting. And there's some guys on SEO Clicks that will, just go and do a bit of forum posting for you. I tested a couple of those guys and I was a little bit disappointed, so I went searching for people that would do this, and I found a couple of assistants that can do that. So we're actually going to offer a forum posting service where, we'll do packages where you can get 5 threads created on 20 forums and stuff like that every month, and we're going to put these packages into the site. So probably this time in a few 2 or 3 days we'll have another section here called services, and this is the done for you stuff. And the reason I really wanted to do that is because we continue to see people buying software, we continue to see people watching training videos and buying memberships but not using it because they're just getting distracted and running about all over the place chasing the next sort of hypey promise that comes in the email. So I really want to address that and get some real stuff that really works and stuff that we've been testing ourselves, and that way you can get a real benefit. So when you get sick of all the bullshit with all this stuff hitting your inbox, then you can come over to us and say, okay, I want to try something that works, and we can set it up for you. So we will have all of those in there, and it will only be things that we have tested and had working ourselves, okay? So we'll be able to do that. Okay, so I think that's just about it. Anybody who wanted to get a hold of that fast writing tool, you can get it here. Use it just for SEO purposes and nothing else. Don't use it as a sort of hoping to get a bunch of traffic. It's not going to work like that. If you want to just, if you want to just get a few press releases out and you want to do some internal linking, this does the press releases for you. You can add it into mass media, and it's really, really quick. And you can do it that way as well. So you're at least using your press releases up, and you're seeing some benefits. And it doesn't take that long to use. It's very automated, very easy, and you just add that stuff into mass media. Okay, so have we got any questions, Robert, or should we wind up? Anybody there? Have I been talking to myself again?
Sorry, Patrick Augustine is asking.
Still connected.
Patrick is asking about those blog posts that you'll be offering, if they can be used on a PBN.
Yeah, to use in a PBN or to use as an alternative for a PBN might be a better solution. I will do some sort of more training videos on that. Okay, I will put in when we've done the services area, there will be a video for each one. I will do a short version just saying what it is, and I will do a version explaining why it is, okay? And we can cover that kind of thing in there. It is a kind of viable alternative in a way, but not entirely, because when you're doing these, when you're getting these blog posts, they will initially be on home pages, but they'll start dropping down after a while, so that's why they're not, okay? It's still better to have, at least 5 or 10 PBNs that you control yourself, okay? If you do the 5 version that we covered in the PBN training, which I think is achievable for everybody, and there's nothing in there that I would change even after all the updates, because we covered all the bases basically in there to make sure that things were pretty good, unless you're reading things from Empire Network and their NASA scientists and all these claims they're making that you shouldn't log in when you're if you're not on a private browser and yeah, all that kind of stuff. Like, people use virtual assistants. It's all over the internet. People are using virtual assistants, and they've got more than one site. There's perfectly legitimate times where you're going to have more than one site, and where you're going to be linking to other content that you control. And that's not just for us as marketers, that's for car dealers, that's for franchises, that's for a lot of big companies, restaurant groups, all that kind of stuff. Should they get punished by Google because they've got more than one location? Because that's effectively what they're saying, okay? And you can't log in from one location and do all these different sites and all that kind of stuff. If it bothers you that much, use HMA. Okay, you can do that. But having even just a 5-site PBN and building it up, and it doesn't have to be a race to get it done, is still very effective because you control it, okay? When you're taking these high PR blog links, the best thing to do when you get them is to do some backlinking to them, but quality backlinking to them, okay? But we'll put some solutions in there for that. Is it an alternative to PBN? Kinda, but not really, okay? It's a little bit different. It needs additional backlinking to have a better effect over time, but there's ways that we can do that with some of the tools that we've got. We've got the Web 2.0 Commando, we've got the IFTTT, we've got Social Bookmark Commando, we've got all those kind of tools that are just sitting there waiting to be used and probably sitting on your desktop. Use them and use them for these kind of purposes, and if you're going to buy those high PR links. Okay, that's what I would suggest.
Okay, let me see. Where can we get the Social Traffic Commando? Kevin is asking.
If you go into my site and just scroll down, actually we put the products up here, you will see Social Traffic Commando here. Okay. The last I spoke to Hugh Hitchcock, he had somebody helping him with it who got stuck on the one part of it. So he told me it would take about a couple of weeks before he could get to that part himself. So hopefully we will have the web version of that, the web app version of that one up soon.
Okay, that seems to be it.
Well, basically we covered, I mean, that's basically SEO 101 stuff that we covered. I mean, this is stuff that you really need to be focused on, and just try and ignore the emails, guys. It's never ending. It's just monotonous. It's just, it doesn't stop. It's not going to stop. What you got to remember is these guys that are sending the emails, that is their livelihood, okay? That's what they do. That's how they make the money. They create products. They get people to email for the products. Other people have products. They have to return the email, okay? Just your email box gets hit every time. They're using professional copywriters. They're using seduction techniques in the copy. Sometimes there's really great products, don't get me wrong, but if you keep buying every product that comes along, then you get stuck and you're not going to make progress. If you want to do the product and buying products, this is the way to do it. You choose a particular area that you want to concentrate on, whether it's sort of social SEO or social syndication, whether it's on-page SEO, whether it's backlinking for tier 1 backlinks, or whether it's Web 2.0, so whether it's tier 2 kind of backlinks or whatever. Choose one area, video marketing, public hangouts, whatever. Choose one area and focus on the products available in that particular area. Master that area, then move on to the next one. Don't let the emails confuse you, because they will definitely confuse you. You will be buying Facebook products, you will be buying backlink products, you will be buying keyword tools, you will be buying this and that. It's never ending, okay? How many tools have you got on your computer right now that you don't use? You've got to take a step back, really seriously take a step back. And if you find it really hard not to, here's the thing that I used to do. I used to wait 24 hours. I didn't care if it was on a dime sale or not. I waited 24 hours and just to see if I still felt the urge to go and buy that product 24 hours later. Two things happen. First, you start getting feedback about how good the product really is from the people who jumped, okay? And secondly, you start to think a little bit differently, because what you will notice in between that time, there's another shiny object came through your inbox, okay? So have a think about it, take a step back, because otherwise this is a very, very expensive hobby. We're not doing it for a hobby, we're doing it to make money, to drive traffic and to make money. If you're doing this as a hobby, then I suggest you even go and learn about PPC, because ultimately you're buying traffic, okay? That will work better for you in the longer term, because you actually will be buying traffic. Anything that costs you money is actually for traffic and not for ideas, not for the sort of hypey solutions. You're actually buying traffic, and you will get better results that way. Then you can just focus on your conversions. You know, you're far better to do that and try to run it like a real business. There's a lot of money you can make in internet marketing, but you've got to take a step back sometimes and think, what the hell am I doing here? Because I know a lot of people are doing it. I can see just by looking at how many installs are done from the softwares, and we can see from the press release back end, and we can see from the memberships from Web 2.0 Commando. People are buying the ideas, but they're not doing a damn thing with them, and it's just, you know, it drives me nuts a little bit because I know what is happening in the background. You just got yourself into a very expensive hobby. And I bet you get into arguments with your spouse or whatever. I had all that stuff before. And it cost me a marriage in the end. But, I pulled through in the end because I did get a little bit more sensible with it. But, you might not be so fortunate. So think about it. Take a step back and start to think about it like a real business and start to think about one aspect at a time, master it, then go on to the next part, okay? So anyway, let's wind up here before I go on a further kind of rant. All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks for your time. Thanks, Robert.
You're welcome, Tony.
Cheers.
Good night, everybody.